Welcome back to the Hunt G4 channel. Today we're going to be reviewing a bow that there's not a lot of info on, but it's one of the best kept secrets in the industry. This is the Darton Sequel 33. So a little background on Darton before we get into all the technical specs here. In the last 3 years, they've kind of come onto the scene. In pro shops, they've signed a lot of professional shooters in the target world. They're winning a lot of tournaments, and people are like, who the heck is Darton? So a little background on them. Darton has actually been around since like the 60s. They started making recurves. As the compound game got larger and stronger, Darton decided to go in a direction of machining and producing cam systems and essentially bow accessories. And what they would do, like the backbone of their company, was essentially design a cam system, patent it, and then have people pay them to use that technology. If you have shot literally pretty much any bow except a Matthews in the last 20 years, you have shot Darton technology at some point. And I'll point that out in a little bit here when I get into the cam system on this. The roller guard on bows, Darton technology. The cam and a half system on Hoyts, Darton technology. So Darton has been in the archery game for a long, long time. I think it was 2018. We might fact check that, but in 2018, I think Randy, who owns Black Eagle Arrows, bought Darton, and his mission was to make them be a topic of conversation right next to the Hoyt, Matthews, PSE, the big name brands in pro shops. So they've been rolling out a pretty massive marketing campaign, but the word is not really out about them yet. So I'm going to go over the technical specs, the technology in this bow. I did a speed test on it. Basically, with this bow, you get everything that you get with any other flagship bow, but because they don't have to pay for any licensing fees for patents, you save $300 or $400. So most of the flagship bows like Matthews and Hoyt this year, $1,400 to $1,450. This bow is $1,099. And you get all the performance and machining and high-end gear that you would get on a Hoyt or a Matthews or a Bowtech in the Darton at a slightly lower price point. So it's a great option for somebody who wants a bow that is a flagship quality bow with a, I wouldn't say mid-range price, but kind of that upper end mid-range price. So let's dive into the technical specs. This is the Sequel 33. So as the name would suggest, it is 33 inches axle to axle. It IBOs at 335, and Darton claims that is the actual speed. A lot of bow companies pump up those numbers, 4, 5, 6, sometimes more feet per second in order to look good. Darton actually comes in around those numbers. I say around. They claim that is the actual speed when you do the IBO test, which is a 350 grain arrow, 70 pounds, 30 inch draw length. Has a 6.3 inch brace height, which is kind of an odd number. Usually bows in this category are like a 6 or a 6.5, but they're 6.3, so it's not short but not long. Helps maintain speed well. Has a forgiving riser design. What I want to get into on this is the technology of the cams. So if you're newer to archery, this may not make sense to you. If you've been following along the different brands for a while, this cam literally looks like the Bowtech and PSE Evolve cam had a baby. And that is because guess who designed both of those cam systems? Darton. So you have your split yokes here. It's a binary cam. It has a rotating draw module and a draw stop. And what that allows you to do with this is actually change the let off with the draw stop. So if you match, let's say, on 30 inches, you're on peg number 5.5 here. If I put the module on 5.5 and match the draw stop to 5.5, it's going to be 85 to 87% let off. If I leave the draw stop at 30 inches, which is the 5.5 mark on this, and lengthen the draw length on the module another 1/2 inch, what that does is it will still stop the bow at 29.5 inches because the draw stops come around and hit the cables. But it doesn't allow the cam to get all the way into the valley, meaning it'll take that let off down to like 80%. So without having to buy a different module or in some cases with different bows, you have to buy a whole new cam to get a different let off. You can really play with the feel and holding weight of this bow just with what comes on it, which I think is a cool feature. Everybody has a different style of shooting. If you like to just kind of hit the back wall and relax and touch it off, you're probably gonna like that higher let off. If you're somebody who comes into that back wall and wants to pull the wheels off the bow while you aim, you're probably going to like that little bit lower let off. So you have a lot of options with the cam system on that. The reflex on this bow is only like 1 3/4 inches. And if you're not familiar with what the reflex is, if I draw a line from the pivot point of the limb, top and bottom, and then measure from that line to the deepest point in the grip right here, that is the reflex. The less reflex a bow has, the less your grip pressure will torque that bow. So for ease of numbers, let's say you put 2 pounds of grip pressure on the left edge. A bow that has 3 inches of reflex is going to miss by a larger margin than a bow that has 1.5 inches of reflex. So that's where forgiveness, air quotes, comes in to play in a bow. Is it's not just the distance from the grip to the string, it's the geometry of the riser, really. You do have the option, this just has a silly little whisker biscuit on it right now, but it does have the mount here if you want to run an integrated rest. Obviously you can run, I would run a Hamskea on this, I would run a Hamskea on anything. You've got your roller guards, just like any other flagship bow. Quiver mounts, top and bottom, so you can run a 2-piece, you can run a single piece, whatever you want to do. This bow goes from 25.5 to 31 inches, so it covers a really large draw length range, which is great. You can get this in a 50, 60, or 70 pound limb option. They do not make an 80 currently. I know they are in the talks of maybe making that next year. But for right now, your peak weights range from 50 to 70. Like I mentioned earlier, you're not missing out on any technology by buying this bow, but you are saving money. I think this is kind of the best bow that nobody knows about or nobody's heard of. Those in the industry that know and have followed along for a long time know that Darton is a renowned name. They've got a great reputation, and they're really trying to make a splash in the bow hunting world. Like I said, on the target archery side of things, they've been killing it this last year. But target bows don't move hunting bows. If somebody comes in the shop and says, hey, I want a new bow, I'm elk hunting this year, and I say, oh, we should check out Darton, Chance Boboff just won the third leg of the Triple Crown with this, you're gonna go, who is Chance and why do I care? So they're making a big push to get their name out in the bow hunting world, and they're building a sweet bow. I mean, like I said, this bow draws smooth, it's quiet, it has all the things you expect from the big, quote, brand names, but you save $300 or $400 buying it. So if you're in the market for a new bow, you want to save some coin, I would highly recommend coming down to G4, shooting this bow, put it up right against all the other bows. We'll set up every bow you have, shoot it right next to it. Tell me if you can notice a difference. I don't think you will. Another cool thing about Darton is they will actually allow us to ship these bows. So if you're watching this and you're out of state, maybe you follow the Inside Out Precision channel as well, and you're seeing this, we can ship these. There's some specs that we would need from you, but we are allowed to ship these bows. So, like I said, I would encourage you, come down, shoot these against all the top name brands, and be honest with yourself. Like, I know Matthews has all the hype right now, but what are you really gaining from the Matthews over this in terms of performance and shootability of the bow? So that's the technical specs. I did do a speed test. Now, I did this at 30 inches, 70 pounds. I literally got it, 70.1 pounds, but that won't make a difference. I have arrows ranging from 520 down to 385. So at 70 pounds, 30 inches, my 520 grain arrow was 276 feet per second. 462 grain arrow was 288 feet a second, which, I mean, that's honestly all these bows this year are kind of right in that same range. I mean, you might get 3 or 4 feet per second difference between them all, but this is right on par with any other flagship bow. A 420 grain arrow was right at 300 feet per second, dead on. A 385 grain arrow was 317 feet per second. Now, generally speaking, 3 grains equates to 1 foot per second. So if you do the math from what they are rated at, which is a 350 grain arrow, we're 35 grains heavier with the 385 at 314 feet per second. It's gonna come out to, with a 350 grain arrow, it's gonna be pretty much what they say. So I personally, just from a technician standpoint, I really respect that, because I get a lot of guys that say, hey, they said this bow was 350 feet a second. I'm only getting, 310, which that might be a little bit of exaggeration, but there's no BS with these guys. Like they know the industry. They're all shooters. Everybody that works for them and works for the company is a bow hunter, a target archer. They've been in the industry a long time, so they know they're not going to BS the customer. They know what people want. They know what people need, and they are providing that for them. So like I said, I encourage you to come down, shoot this bow. I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you get a chance, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. If you hit the little bell down there, it'll let you know every time a video comes up. I think we're trying to post 2 videos a month at this point. And hopefully, if things go according to plan, we can increase that rate. But for now, like I said, if you can hit that subscribe button, it'll help us out. I appreciate your time. Remember to hunt hard, hunt safe, and be kind.